Hello everyone, welcome back to Streetlight Babble, or as we like to call some of these shorter videos, mini babbles. My name is Jake, and I'm here to talk to you about the newest Beauty and the Beast movie. As you notice, Chris is not with us right now, he is out of town, so it's just me today talking about the new Beauty and the Beast movie. So, overall, what I think? It was a decent movie. Wasn't fantastic, wasn't as breathtaking or revolutionary as the original movie, but on the same hand, you gotta do best with what you got. A couple of things I just wanted to touch on. It's going to be a real quick, short video. I'm going to be out of town soon, so I'm not going to have as much time to edit as some of our more recent videos, but I still wanted to touch on it and talk about some of the things I liked and some of the things that didn't sit quite as well. First of all, I wanted to say that the casting in this movie is actually really good. Luke Evans as Gaston did a fantastic job as being just kind of this pompous height of his personality type, I guess. Josh Gad as LeFou was serviceable. I think those of you who are, kind of interested in seeing this for the LGBT take on some of these classic characters, it's not really that prevalent throughout the movie. There's kind of a little bit of hints here and there that he is gay, but really there's only about an entirety of 5 seconds of actual screen time where he is pretty blatantly gay. The director said that he was going to be putting, a serious monumental scene in the movie, and like I said, it was about 5 total seconds of actual movie. Who else? Emma Watson as Belle. She was good. Talk a little bit about some of her things in the negatives, but overall, her character performance was actually very strong as Belle. She did a really good job of playing up what Belle represents, being a very strong, empowered female. And Dan Stevens as the Beast did a very good job as well. I'm a big fan of Dan Stevens. I've enjoyed his work since Downton Abbey, and he did a really good job. Supporting characters, you got Kevin Kline as Maurice. He was another one that was good. Wasn't as prevalent in this movie as he was in the animated feature, which was fine. They spent a lot more time developing Beauty and the Beast's characters, which, the movie's named Beauty and the Beast. You want to make sure that you're developing those characters. Who else? Ian McKellen as Cogsworth. He was all right. I feel they probably could have used Ian McKellen a little bit more in the film if you're going to get him to do your movie, but I guess they didn't see Cogsworth as important of a character as Lumiere. Flip that, Lumiere really kind of is the main character of all the servants. I mean, there's a little bit of other things going on. You have Stanley Tucci's character, who's the piano. You have a couple other characters that are outside, but Lumiere is really the one that's in the forefront. Whereas I feel in the animated feature, there was a little bit more of a duality between him and Cogsworth. Here, it's very blatant that Lumiere is front and center all the time. And I gotta say, even though his accent was a little bit hokey, I'm using that term lightly, it was pretty hokey, but overall, he did a really good job. Very energetic performance. As a matter of fact, of all the characters, I feel like he was the most energetic and invested in his character. Everyone else did a good job, but I feel even though his character's accent was off, he did the most to kind of progress the story forwards. But yeah, that's pretty much it performance wise. Color wise, it was weird. There were times where it was basically just a grayscale and seemed very drab, which I suppose fits the tone of the story. But at the same time, you contrast that with these shots that are just these beautiful, beautiful colors, like, for instance, the recreation of the famous ballroom dance scene. Lots of beautiful colors, lots of kind of pinks and softer colors, but I don't know, I feel they should have gone one way or the other with the color scheme of the movie, and they kind of just tried to splice everything together, and it didn't necessarily work out the best for the picture. I'm not saying it was, it detracted wholly from the movie, but it did make a couple of scenes seem a little bit just out of the blue. And plot wise, they pretty much stuck to the original for the most part. There were a couple of slight changes, and I'm pretty sure you can go on YouTube and see other people's spoiler reviews of them to figure out what those are. But I didn't necessarily have a problem with the plot changes. I wasn't a big fan of the additional songs that they added in, but to each his own, I suppose. Now, I'm going to kind of shift focus a little bit and talk about some of the things that really took me out of the movie. One of the biggest ones was the singing. Now, there were two songs, and ironically, there were two of the famous ones from the original movie, and those ones were good. The Be Our Guest, I feel, was really strong, despite, once again, Ian McKellen, no, Ewan McGregor's accent was a little bit hokey throughout it, but the visuals in that scene were absolutely breathtaking. They were really well done. And the other one was Gaston. I mean, everyone loves a good villain song, and that song is kind of monumental to the character. And they did a really good job of kind of making this. They took that and they turned it into a drinking song, which I think did really well. You know, they're singing it in a tavern. Of course, it's going to be a drinking song. But some of the other vocal performances, I feel, I don't know how to say this, then Emma Watson was auto-tuned. And so it doesn't seem like it's as natural of a vocal performance as it could have been. I'm not saying it's bad, but you can definitely tell that there's some synthetic sound added in there, and that does make you a little bit uneasy whenever she's singing. It's not bad, it's just, it's a little bit distracting from the rest of the, pretty much the rest of the movie. They give a song to the Beast, and I suppose, you know, you give a song to the leading lady, you give a song to the Beast, and that one kind of comes out of nowhere a little bit. But, like I said, the rest of the songs that were added in were passable, but there weren't any big shining moments other than, like I said, the Be Our Guest was good, and it always has been good, and the Gaston song, which once again has always been good. But overall, I think, you know, despite, like I said, those detractors, things that kind of make me feel uneasy, I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. One thing I noticed when I was at the theater, there were a lot of families there. This is definitely a really good family movie. I wouldn't say, you know, it's a great movie, but it's, you know, you spend your $10, you go take your family, you have a nice little trip to the theater, and it's a nice little movie. So overall, I'd say it's about a 7 out of 10. Not a perfect recreation, but not terrible. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this, like I said, this has been a little mini babble with Jake. Chris is going to be doing a mini babble on one of the movies coming out next week. We still have yet to figure out which one that's going to be, so stay tuned, and we also have some more treats for you coming out this week. Bye, guys!